The sound that still wakes me up at night isn't screaming. It's the whine of a golf cart motor, steady, careless, paired with a child's uneven footsteps struggling to keep up. When a neighbor whispered into my phone, "Sir, your daughter is crying and can't stop, the HOA woman made her run," I knew one thing immediately. Whatever happened on that road was not an accident. Our neighborhood looked like a brochure. Palm trees trimmed perfectly. Sidewalks painted fresh. Golf carts more common than bicycles. And at the center of it all was the HOA. Rules everywhere. Signs everywhere. Enforcement everywhere. Especially from her. Everyone knew the HOA Karen. Not by name, but by reputation. She patrolled the community roads in her white golf cart like a private sheriff. Clipboard on the seat. Whistle around her neck. She believed rules mattered more than people. My daughter, Lena, was 9. She had a mobility disability that affected her legs. She could walk, but only short distances, and only at her own pace. She loved being outside. Not running. Not racing. Just moving. That afternoon, she wanted to walk to the community mailbox with her cousin. A distance she'd done dozens of times, slowly, safely. "Daddy," she said, adjusting her leg braces, "I'll rest if I need to." I trusted her. I shouldn't have had to worry about an HOA patrol. The road near the mailbox was narrow. Golf carts shared it with pedestrians. Lena stayed to the side, as she'd been taught. Then came the voice. "Hey! You can't walk there that slow." Witnesses later said the golf cart stopped abruptly. Karen leaned out. "Move faster or get off the road." Lena froze. She didn't understand why an adult was angry at her for walking. "I'm trying," she said softly. Karen didn't get off the cart. She didn't ask if Lena needed help. She pressed the accelerator just enough to roll forward, forcing Lena to move or be left in the dust. "Keep up," Karen shouted. "You're holding traffic." Traffic. There were no cars. Just a scared child and an adult who thought intimidation counted as enforcement. Lena tried to speed up. Her braces clanked. Her breathing changed. She stumbled, but kept going. Karen didn't stop. Witnesses said the cart stayed just ahead of her, like a cruel pace setter. "Run," Karen yelled. Rules are rules. That word "run" was impossible for Lena. Her legs gave out. She fell to her knees. A child crying on concrete doesn't sound like a tantrum. It sounds like pain. Karen finally stopped the cart. But not to help. "You need supervision," she said. "This is unsafe behavior." Unsafe. The irony hung heavy in the air. A woman dropped her groceries. A man ran from his driveway. "Are you okay?" someone asked Lena. Karen waved them off. "I've got this. HOA business." That's when someone pulled out their phone. That decision changed everything. I was at home when the call came. Not from Karen. Not from the HOA. From a neighbor I barely knew. "Sir," she said, breathless, "your daughter's hurt. Please come now." I didn't ask questions. I ran. Lena sat on the curb, shaking. Her legs trembled uncontrollably. Her face was red, not from exertion, but fear. Karen stood nearby, arms crossed. "She shouldn't have been out alone," Karen said before I could speak. I knelt down and held my daughter. She clung to me. "She made me run," Lena whispered. I couldn't. I looked up and said one sentence. "Why didn't you stop when she fell?" Karen shrugged. She needed to learn. Learn. That's when witnesses started talking out loud. She told her to run. The cart kept moving. She was crying. Karen's face tightened. This was no longer controlled. Someone had already called for medical help. When responders arrived, they assessed Lena carefully. Her legs were cramped. Her breathing shallow. Her body exhausted beyond safe limits. The medic looked at Karen and asked, "Did you pressure this child to keep moving?" Karen didn't answer. That silence spoke volumes. Before we even left for further medical evaluation, my phone buzzed. An HOA email. Subject line: Incident involving minor under review. No concern. No apology. Just control. They thought this would be handled quietly. They thought the words HOA business would scare people. They were wrong. Because 3 neighbors had video. 2 had audio. And 1 had the entire thing from start to finish. That night, as Lena slept, legs wrapped and elevated, I watched the videos. No editing. No drama. Just a golf cart moving. A child struggling. An adult yelling. I didn't feel rage. I felt resolve. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was reckless endangerment of a disabled child. And it was going to be addressed. The next morning, Lena couldn't stand without help. Her legs were stiff, muscles inflamed, and every attempt to move sent tears to her eyes. The doctor confirmed what I already feared. She was pushed past her physical limits. This was not safe. That sentence mattered. Because it turned a cruel moment into documented harm. By noon, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Neighbors. Parents. Even people I didn't recognize. One message stood out. I have the full video. She kept yelling at your daughter to run. I watched it again, this time with fresh eyes. Not as a father. As someone who understands accountability. Karen's voice was clear. The golf cart never fully stopped. Lena's stumble was visible. There was no editing. No manipulation. Just truth. At 2:17 p.m., a second HOA email arrived. Subject line: Clarification regarding yesterday's events. The wording had shifted. No longer firm. Now, careful. They claimed. The incident was misinterpreted. Karen was attempting to ensure safety. The HOA would review procedures. But they still didn't say sorry. Parents pulled their kids inside. Group chats exploded. Screenshots of the video spread. People weren't angry anymore. They were afraid. If this could happen to a disabled child, who was next? I requested an official incident report from the HOA. What they sent back didn't match the video. They claimed Lena was running unsupervised. Karen verbally warned her. No physical pressure occurred. That lie crossed a line. I submitted medical documentation, 3 witness videos, audio recordings, HOA emails. The response was immediate. An investigator asked one key question. Was the child coerced? I answered calmly. Yes. Karen was asked to give her statement. Witnesses later told me she was confident at first. Still defensive. Still dismissive. Until the videos were played. Her posture changed. Her voice softened. She claimed, I didn't know she was disabled. That excuse fell apart instantly. Lena's braces were visible. Her gait was unmistakable. Ignorance wasn't believable. That night, the HOA called an emergency board meeting. Closed door. No residents allowed. But someone leaked the minutes. They were scared. Not of me. Of exposure. Emails started using new language. Risk. Compliance. Legal exposure. Suddenly, Karen wasn't being defended. She was being distanced. That evening, Lena asked me something I'll never forget. Daddy, did I do something wrong? I hugged her tightly. No. You were brave. And I meant it. 2 days later, a certified letter arrived. Karen was removed from HOA enforcement duties. Under formal investigation. Prohibited from interacting with minors. The HOA called it temporary. Everyone else knew better. The HOA hoped things would quietly fade. They didn't. A local community page shared the video, faces blurred, voices intact. No commentary. No accusations. Just footage. Within hours, the comments poured in. This is abuse. That child was terrified. How is this woman still allowed near kids? The narrative was no longer controlled by the HOA. It belonged to the community. The HOA released a public notice. We regret any distress caused and are reviewing policies to ensure inclusivity. But people noticed what was missing. No apology to Lena. No acknowledgement of wrongdoing. No accountability. That silence was louder than any statement. Karen was called in one last time. This time, it wasn't just HOA representatives. There were legal advisors. There were child welfare specialists. There was documentation on the table. She was shown the medical report. She was shown the footage again. She was asked one question. Would you do anything differently? Her pause said everything. Karen was permanently removed from any HOA authority. Her enforcement role was terminated. Her access to patrol vehicles revoked. Her involvement with residents restricted. The HOA issued a revised statement. We acknowledge that serious mistakes were made. It wasn't justice. But it was a start. Under pressure, the HOA implemented changes. Mandatory disability awareness training. Zero tolerance policy for harassment. Clear pedestrian protection rules. No enforcement without supervisor oversight. They didn't do it out of kindness. They did it because they had to. Weeks later, Lena returned to the mailbox. Not alone. Neighbors walked beside her. Kids waved. Someone chalked a heart on the sidewalk. She walked slowly. At her pace. When she reached the curb, she smiled. I'm not scared anymore, she said. People began talking not about rules, but about responsibility. Parents organized safety walks. Residents challenged policies. The HOA meetings filled with voices that had been silent for years. Power shifted. One evening, Lena received a card. Inside were signatures from neighbors. The message read, "Thank you for reminding us what matters." She taped it to her wall. This story was never about revenge. It was about boundaries. About dignity. About a child who deserved protection, not pressure. Karen lost authority. The HOA lost control. And a community learned that rules mean nothing without humanity. If you're watching this and thinking, this could never happen where I live, remember, it already did. Because silence protects power. And speaking up protects people. If you want more stories like this, stories where truth wins and voices matter, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay aware.